2 more races left for the 2012 FF1M Championship, and for the first time we head to Road America for the second US race of this season. 2 commentators this time, the regular me and James Whiteley from Exolite.
Hello, hello! Looking forward to be back in, I was going to say in the driving seat, but I'm not going to be in the driving seat. I'm going to be in the
Team Principal
seat next season. Yeah, looking forward to that.
And you've joined us at a good time because both championships have been wrapped up.
Yeah, so really interesting race this then.
Yes, this is all for pride because, well, the Japanese Grand Prix saw Hamilton emphatically win the championship. Rosberg's engine blew up and Fernando Alonso spun out of the lead, so that gave Hamilton a nice easy path to championship glory.
I'm starting to wonder if my choice of old Nando was
A wise one.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to see a 2006 or a 2012 real F1 Alonso next season. He's the man I thought I'd signed up for.
You never know, it could work out for you. And you notice as well that despite the track being 6.5 kilometres long, that this is 76 laps, meaning that the total distance is nearly 500 kilometres. That's an admin error because researching the circuit, AJ thought that it was it's around 3.8 miles, but he misread that as 3.8 kilometres. So
it's a long
it's a long race ahead of us, but it should be interesting, and that's why everyone's 3-stopping. 11th pole of the season for Nico Rosberg, and he's joined by Kamui Kobayashi for second on the grid for Pedersen. Joining in third is Bruno Senna, so both Pedersen showing quite strongly.
Is that the strongest qualifying for? Must be
definitely the strongest qualifying this season. Both in the top 3. Di Grassi 4th, there's Alonso, your future driver in 5th, and my future driver in 6th, Lewis Hamilton, and the current world champion. Strong qualifying from Sam Bird, he reaches the top 10 for Horizon. That's a good effort from him, and so Jean-Eric Verne as well in 12th. Not often we see a GRM up there. And there is Shake and Bake, still struggling in qualifying somewhat.
It seems to be going 14th. Seems to be. I'm sure he's had a few 14ths.
Impressive effort from Tom Dillman up in 17th. Unsure where he's going to be after this season because he's not got a drive. He's out qualified Sergio Perez, who is seen as a
average season. Kubica 19th, and Sutil 20th. I was about to say.
And here's the start, because 5 lights are on, and bit pause, 5 lights are out. That was a good start from Kobayashi from second on the grid. He's going to try and get alongside Rosberg going into the first fast corner. I think he's got it, but Rosberg is still trying to hang on the inside. He's still hanging on, but Kobayashi...
He's done it.
Yeah, Rosberg
maintains the lead.
Just about hangs on. And any other good starts?
Back, though.
Kobayashi... There's a lot of curb.
Senna's up to third.
Yes, third on the grid, so he's maintained that. Poor start from Alonso, he's dropped down to 7th, and...
Kobayashi's got a slipstream on Rosberg here. Is he going to make him move?
They're all making
moves.
He is! Oh, they're off! What on earth has happened there?
Christ!
So both Pedersens and both Sean Connery Motors have gone flying off the circuit.
That has all the hallmarks of quite a big...
And it's a red flag. They've red flagged the race. That's very rarely seen. So... Let's see what happens. So Di Grassi, well, they all just go too quickly.
Di Grassi just went, straight into Rosberg.
All just going way too quickly into that corner. So, yes, interesting decision.
Few early showers already.
I mean, I was going to say that's made Hamilton's job much easier, but yes.
Oh, God. So I think that was that Di Grassi going way too hot there?
Yes. So take 2. 5 lights are out, and that's a slightly better start from Rosberg. And but Kobayashi's still had a good one.
Still, yeah.
Di Grassi's had a particularly good one this time, and jockeying for position going into turn 1. But it is Rosberg who hangs on to the lead this time around.
Looking good for the Sean Connerys, or the Sean Connerys.
The Motors. And Hamilton up to 3rd. Where's that come from? So
where did he start again?
6th on the grid. Yeah. Good start from him, the world champion. And now
Alonso's 5th.
Let's see what happens here this time around.
Yeah, hopefully take 2 will
be a lot cleaner,
slightly smoother. Kobayashi's got the
trying to get the inside.
Chopped.
That's a lot cleaner than the first take. It's a poor start from Senna, who's dropped from 3rd to 7th. Very poor start. Even both Willows have got ahead. So Alonso 4th, Di Grassi 5th, Maldonado 6th. And there's a bit of a gap developing now between Rosberg and Kobayashi. And Senna's poor start is paying for it because he's now got Daniel Ricciardo right behind him.
Yeah, it didn't go well for him, that having to take the second start, did it?
Nope. And Hamilton up the inside into the kink.
Oh, I think he's got Kobayashi.
He's got him. That's a good move.
And Fernando is waiting in the wings, my boy.
And Maldonado is having a look.
Move. Yeah, Fernando's done it. Poor couple of corners for Kobayashi.
And that's down to 4th for the Pedersen driver.
What engine does he have again in the
Pedersen?
In the Pedersen, yeah.
Works BMW.
Works BMW.
So they're good in qualifying, but they're not quite as strong in the race. We're on board with the Works Ferrari of Lucas Di Grassi, and Hamilton is the fastest man on the circuit at the moment. And that's 4th position for Di Grassi as they go into turn 1. And
it is a great circuit, this one.
Yes, a little fact about this one: it's the oldest unmodified circuit.
I think
in
I've
the
heard
world.
that somewhere.
Yeah. It was built in 1948, and the layout has not changed since. So that's an interesting fact of the day.
Yeah.
Here's Maldonado getting past
I was gonna
Kobayashi.
say, yeah.
So both Pedersens dropping down the order somewhat. It's 5th for the Venezuelan, who will join Shake and Bake next season.
They're going to be hitting a few cars.
Maldonado has actually been fairly decent. It's Alonso who's made the most mistakes.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I might not be laughing for very long.
And I've noticed you've got Jenson Button as well.
I do. Yeah, I thought that was a hopefully an interest. Yeah, I was surprised he went for he only went for 35 credits in there. Oh, hang on.
Hamilton saw him there.
Yeah.
Room.
Fernando's got the slipstream again. He's going around the outside.
That'll be the inside for this one.
Sorry, inside. Yeah, I was forgetting the layout. It's not a circuit I'm hugely familiar with. Great circuit though it is.
Yes, and this is the final corner they're coming up to now. Very sweeping open circuit, which I very much enjoy. And up the big long hill. I remember first seeing this. It was a champ car race, and I think Paul Tracy got black flagged for shunting too many people off.
And let me guess, there was there was sort of a standard fight afterwards of some sort of barroom brawl.
Probably, if it's Paul Tracy, because he's a bit of a wild.
A bit
one.
of a lad.
A bit of a lad, yeah.
Right. Nope.
Who are we looking at here? This is the start from on board Hamilton.
First, second start, I assume.
Yes, it will be, because that was Di Grassi getting ahead of Senna. So where does Hamilton make up the positions? He gets Senna there.
He's 4th at the moment.
And then round the outside of Di Grassi, that's how he's made up the positions. So good start from the 3-time world champion.
Yeah.
Having done it twice with Shake and Bake, and now once with Tornado.
You can tell he was just wishing the track was a bit wider there.
Yes. And then this will be continuing the replay. And then this will be his overtake on Kobayashi going into... it won't be in the corner going into the carousel. It was going into the kink after the carousel. Snap on as they go through the carousel.
What?
Just reading the advertisements. Doesn't make me want to snap on.
A strap? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, right, okay.
So that's how he did the overtake on Kobayashi, and somewhere along the line Alonso made his way up. Now, back to the action, as Alonso is the fastest man on the track now.
Oh, he is as well.
And that's a Maldonado.
That's a Maldonado, yeah.
Getting past Di Grassi. So the Willows looking very strong at this early stage of the race. These are the two Pedersens going at it, and that's a lot cleaner than the first lap. And just behind them there's the two FJRs. So here's Alonso, and both...
He looks to be on a charge, Fernando.
Yes.
I mean, what was the gap? I think it's definitely come down, but I mean, Hamilton's still breathing down his neck.
Yeah, he's dragging Hamilton along with him.
Yeah.
In fact, Hamilton is in
has
the
a good
slipstream.
run here. I think it might be a slam dunk. No, Alonso defends on the inside.
Yeah, he saw that one.
Yeah.
But Hamilton...
the old fox.
looking to regain the position from the Spaniard. Former world champion now, because he was the 2011 FF1M champion. And the other seasons he won it. He won it in 2002.
He's pulled out of the slipstream. He's going... I'm not sure he has enough closing speed. No, I don't think he's going to quite do it.
And Degrassi's having a go back at Maldonado. So that'll be one to keep an eye on as well. Now they need to turn 2. And Alonso has suddenly caught up to Rosberg. So now Alonso...
Yeah, how was that? Was there a slight mistake Rosberg made then? I didn't see how...
Maybe that Willows is just so good because that's...
That was candy off a dead baby, that was. Edit.
Thanks for that input. I think you're worse than Courtney. But it's in the lead now, Fernando Alonso.
Fernando, not to be, not to be unbiased, but get in there, son.
Rosberg now down to second, and now he might have to see off the current world champion.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The top 3 are separated by less than by...
Well, it's probably not going to be that, but now Rosberg's coming back at Alonso.
He is indeed.
There's some slipstreaming going on. Top 3, all former world champions.
Giving him the old Alonso squeeze there. It was...
I never knew Alonso trademarked that one.
No, I suppose you're right. He knows what he's doing.
Meanwhile, Kimi Raikkonen's not in the top 8, so he's not quite knowing what he's doing just yet.
No. You've had a slightly anonymous season, haven't you?
You know what? Grosjean has been really good.
Yes. Oh, hang on. We've got the... No, not quite.
Not quite there.
It's very much a slipstream war. I can see this circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, and Maldonado and
a little bit old Hockenheimy in that sense.
Yeah.
Although there's a prop, so much as I love the old Hockenheim, there's probably a little bit more to it with this circuit. And here we go again. No, he's struggling, not quite matching the power of the
Mercedes-engined Willows.
Willows, yeah.
Both works, the top 2.
It seems like most people have gone for Ferrari power next season.
Yeah,
a lot of customer Ferrari. I mean, who's got the customer? Pedersen scrap here.
Yes, and they're being joined by Raikkonen in the FJ.
They are. Who's just popped out of nowhere.
And Kobayashi will take that position off of Senna.
There's a shake and bake somewhere in the background. I'm guessing that's Vettel.
Behind the 2 FJRs, yep. That looks like that there. More likely to be Vettel. Perez is qualified further down the order. And they're still battling away, the 2 Pedersens and the 2 FJRs.
Yeah.
But Grosjean has been pretty good this season, and he'll be joining Tornado for the next season.
Look at this, we've almost got... For a second there, we had almost two Pedersens and 2 FJRs side by side.
Yeah. And now, which corner's this one? This is coming onto the pit straight.
It's another Rosberg on Alonso onslaught.
That's Degrassi on Maldonado.
You're right there, Murray.
That power of that Willows Mercedes, it's definitely keeping Maldonado ahead of Degrassi. And now here comes Daniel Ricciardo coming into turn 2. Not quite there, but he'll do something about it down this back straight. See the top speeds on here. Same engines in these 2.
It's the power of the slipstream.
So it's 193 miles an hour on the speedometer. So not too bad in terms of top speeds. I imagine the Willows Mercedes is a bit higher in terms of top speed.
Well, I mean, it's still not the sort of circuit you want. I mean, it's fairly twisty. You're not going to be going for a kind of Monza style. You're still going to want a reasonable amount of downforce, aren't you, on the as a setup? I would imagine.
Well, there are 3 long straights.
There are, but there's some twisty stuff. Well, ish.
Hamilton has got alongside Rosberg going into Canada corner. Not quite making it stick there as they go through the penultimate corner.
All this is giving Alonso some much needed breathing space.
Yes.
He's pulled out a mammoth half a second now.
There'll be a bit more by the end of this lap.
And Hamilton's going for it. I think he might make this one.
Yep, the gap separated
inside,
by
yeah.
26 thousandths.
Yeah, and he's done it. Hamilton's second place.
Indeed. Ricciardo's got ahead of Di Grassi, and we might see a replay of that. He's in the slipstream of Maldonado at the moment. So will Ricciardo be able to make a move going into turn number 3? Well, he's having a look, but Maldonado just about hanging on. And there is Di Grassi. Just dropping back a little bit from these two. So now second place Lewis Hamilton coming through. Oh, he's gone a bit wide
he's
at the
gone
final
wide.
corner, and that's going to give Rosberg second position back. So just carrying a bit too much speed going through the corner, and now Hamilton has got it all to do once again.
I don't think he'll struggle to pick up the slipstream though. It's almost like watching an Indy race in the sense that, you know, as long as you keep within the slipstream of the car ahead, you're not going to drop back too much. But I don't know how much he lost there. He's lost 4 seconds, hasn't he?
He's going to try and regain some of that back by trying to pass Rosberg into Canada corner. Side by side as they go through the kink, but Hamilton has taken the initiative back. Vettel now versus Romain Grosjean, whilst Raikkonen has a go at Bruno Senna going into turn 1. But let's focus on these two as Vettel takes the position.
He's done him.
In fact, that is Kimi Raikkonen. He's just overtaken. So,
but Kimi's trying to fight his way back, and he might, because he's gonna have the inside on this corner.
So a good little scrap between two of the Yorkshire teams, and there'll be a third one to have nice battles with next season in the Excellite Ferrari.
It's got a nice ring to it. Is that?
Oh, inside Ricciardo on the
Ricciardo.
brakes. That's 4th position for the Aussie. Twice race winner this season. And that was at...
He seems to have a very sort of Alain Prost kind of style of, in the sense that he's kind of, sometimes Ricciardo, you look at the start of the race, he's nowhere, and then suddenly he just slowly but surely kind of carves his way up to the front.
Sort of lets the race come to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, Vettel and Raikkonen continue this scrap as Grosjean tries to get alongside the works BMW engine Pedersen. And that's under the brakes into turn 3, so into the points goes an FJR, and it's that of Grosjean. And Raikkonen's got back ahead of Vettel. Similar, well, exactly the same engine in the Shake and Bake and in the FJR, and this is a little bit further on, as Vettel got back ahead of Raikkonen, and now he's got ahead of Senna for 9th position. You can just see the Pedersen...
the double slipstream. This could be an interesting one. Is he going to be brave enough? No, he's
going to take one of them back.
Got one of the shake and bakes.
So continuing their scrap even on lap 16, which we are now on. You can just see the pace difference between the Willows and the Pedersen, because Kobayashi is now 30 and Alonso's just in the pits. He was half a minute behind Alonso, but now that Alonso's in the pits, let's see where he'll rejoin. It's a very long pit lane in Road America. Yes.
Oh,
Vettel has just snuck ahead of Raikkonen.
Yeah, he did.
Sandwiching Raikkonen as Senna.
Slightly caught asleep there, Kimi.
And now Hamilton's due into the pits this lap.
Well, what did we say? It was going to be a 3-stopper, probably.
Yeah, we're expecting 3 stops all round, probably due to the high lap length of this circuit. And let's have a look at how this pit lane works. So break now down to the speedo line, which is invisible, and into his pit box. Yes, really test the driver. Down to his pit box. Always see pit stops in around 5, 6, 7 seconds. This one's a 6.2, and Rosberg was into the pits as well, as is Maldonado. So the first round of pit stops is well and truly underway. Alonso rejoins, still ahead of Hamilton, and maintaining quite a lead. So looking good for Alonso at the moment. At the moment, yes. He's had some reliability problems, but he has also had quite a number of spins. It's a slow pit stop for Raikkonen.
8.4. Does that mean might be going for a longer second stint?
Well, we find that out on the fuel gauge on the left. Tom Dillman in the pits for the AJ. And Raikkonen rejoined just ahead of Vettel, so now they resume this scrap. At the moment it's for 13th, but once the pit stops are out of the way, then it should be back for roughly, let's call it the battle for 9th.
Vettel's got him on the inside.
That's Mark Webber that's ahead of him in the AJ, the white AJ.
Haven't seen much of the AJs. This I think that's the first I've seen on screen.
Yeah, they've had a few livery changes throughout the season. They started off with...
It was a Martini. Was the Martini the second?
Third one.
Third?
Yes, because they started off with a Lucky Strike livery, and then they moved to Gulf livery, so the blue and orange. The old
Ford GT40.
Yes. Vettel up the inside of
Oh,
Webber.
that was a nice move.
Into the kink.
That was a nice move from Seb.
And now Raikkonen needs to try and do the same thing, but Webber, is he going to have a go back, or is Raikkonen going to get him round the outside?
He's going to struggle to get... Oh, he's going to get pushed. Yeah, it
Yes.
didn't quite work.
Not advisable, but Webber's due in the pits this lap, so sort of poor out lap for Kimi. But now he's back on the case with Sebastian Vettel. So this should be...
skipped a bit there. The AJ has mysteriously vanished.
He's due in the pits that lap, so
Yeah.
that'll be the reason behind that. So lap 24, we're approaching 1/3 distance, and now we're on lap 25 as Alonso holds just a 2.8 second lead over Hamilton. So he's closing.
1.2 now.
Yes, he's closing. Alonso's in a bit of traffic at the moment. So that's an Andrew F1 that's ahead of him and trying to lap.
It reminds me of the Kyle Army. It reminds me quite of Kyle Army, the brow on the main straight.
Yeah.
This circuit has it's almost like a much longer Kyle Army circuit. The old style Kyle Army.
Yeah. It's got that fast first.
Yeah, and we're
few
down
corners.
we're down to 6/10 now.
6/10 of a second. Here is the battle
Really heating up.
between future Yorkshire team drivers.
Yeah, exactly, indeed.
Ricciardo, he's driving for Willows next season, I believe, alongside Rosberg. So that should be an interesting lineup as well.
Yeah. I think there are some interesting lineups for next season. I mean, you've got Hamilton and
I've got Esteban Gutierrez. Which sounds like a strange one initially, but he did win the FF1M championship in 2011, and he is in championship contention for the FF1M series.
He's getting getting the practice in.
Bit overlooked, I reckon, and think he'll do all right. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Now as they go through the second sector point, there's a Mitchell trying to get up alongside a GRM going into the kink.
It's pretty much staying about the same. The gap, it's
staying just around a second, maybe a bit less than that.
I think it's key for Alonso to try and, if he can, break away from. I think this circuit it's all about breaking away from the slipstream, isn't it? If you can.
But I would say Hamilton has been the quicker car in this second stint. See the gap now is 7/10, but
it's stabilised-ish.
But I think Hamilton has got the advantage at the moment. 15 laps of fuel for Alonso. They don't run it completely dry, so we should see him into the pits around lap 40 or lap 40.
So where are the Pedersens now then?
Pedersens have dropped far down the order. Just
Pit
haven't
stops?
got the race pace. Pit stops, and they just don't have the car compared to Tornado and Willows.
Well, it was a brave effort from Senna in the first, the opening stint.
Yeah, especially that first start as well. That's quite a moment. That's Adrian Suttle in the Andrew F1 that they're next going to lap, and Hamilton's on a flyer because he's now right behind Alonso.
He is indeed.
As they go through the carousel, quite a fun corner. I do remember driving this on R Factor and thinking, yeah, I do like this circuit.
Oh.
And alongside going into the kink, this is going to be a
He's
brave one.
Oh!
That was nearly a calamity.
I don't know if it was part of the camera angle or it was could have been could have all the hallmarks of an early shower.
Yes. And let's want to keep an eye on this. We'll have a look at past winners. You've not won a US Grand Prix in your career.
No, seems to have done well at the Spa was always a happy hunting ground, but I don't think. Oh, hang on.
We have a Hamilton trying to get up alongside now into turn 1, but the Mercedes engine is very good in the back of the Willows.
I don't think he's quite going to manage it. No, he's had to slip back behind the Willows.
Not to be confused with Willow Images. Willows is a completely different team. Yes, whilst we keep an eye on this battle, first ever...
Oh, hang on. As Hamilton has another run. Once again, the power of the Willow.
But the power of the brakes, not quite enough for Hamilton.
Nope.
As they get ever
Will
closer.
he be able to pressure? Will Alonso crack like Rosberg did at Singapore? That's the question.
Because Alonso did crack whilst pressuring Ricciardo for the lead at Silverstone. That was an interesting moment. We've had a few different circuits in the US play part.
You got a win in 2001 by the looks of it.
Yes, with Michael Schumacher at the wheel, and then Jarno Trulli in 2005 at Indianapolis. Oh, there's another one. It
looked like an aeroplane accident in the waiting, did that?
No, isn't there a yellow flag out at the final corner? It does look like it. So I think someone's had an off. As the pair of them... It's Kobayashi out of the race with a suspension failure.
In the Pedersen.
So there's the yellow flag. So, there he is. He's sort of pulled off by the pit entrance.
So I wonder if that was if there's been an accident then, or if that was just a failure.
Pure failure by the looks of it. We have seen sometimes the accidents happen after a mechanical failure, which is exactly what happened in Monza when Degrassi's engine blew up, and then out of sheer petulance hits the wall and knocks
you. That really royally screwed you over, didn't it?
Knocked both FJR front wings off.
Ooh, that was a bit of squeezing there. It was all fair and yeah.
And while these two battle,
so much pressure.
Ricciardo is closing up on the pair of these two. The gap's now down to 11.4 seconds. The next driver to be lapped is Jean-Eric Verne in the GRM.
In the GRMs, yeah. Where's is it Boemi who's his? Is it Boemi who's his teammate?
Yes.
I haven't seen much of Boemi. Where?
Yeah, they've got very similar helmets, but Verne's has got a tinge of yellow around his skull. And again, trying to get up alongside is the kink. It's always frightening when it happens.
It slightly reminds me of Brands Hatch, that section.
It's quite nice.
Always squeezing Hamilton, Alonso.
And they're getting ever closer to Verne.
I have a feeling back markers, all it takes is one back marker to...
or it takes one error from someone to resolve
and
this
again,
battle.
Alonso will be able to get the slipstream of the back marker, but Hamilton is going around and he's
very tight on the inside.
Very tight. He's going to have to take an incredibly tight line, which he doesn't. He bails out of, and Alonso retains the lead.
And Ricciardo lost 2/10 on that particular lap, so I wonder if he's in traffic as well.
They've really pulled the gap, haven't they? I mean, it's 11 seconds clear, the top two.
Yeah.
It's a two-horse race, definitely.
As Hulkenberg comes into the pits for Mitchell and their splendid lawnmower engines. Again, not quite in the braking for turn
Fernando
3.
is holding on.
Now underneath over the hill and under the bridge into this corner. And there's a Horizon now in front of them, which will be Robert Wickens, who had that points finish in Singapore. And then Horizon had a difficult race in Suzuka.
So it's basically Ferrari versus Mercedes power here then, really, to a degree.
Yes, although the Tornado...
Mercedes in the Willows.
And although the Tornado has the customer Ferrari, let's wince again.
Every single time I think there's about to be an aeroplane accident.
And has Alonso left the door open a little bit more this time? Not quite.
He's placing his car well, is Fernando.
Yes. Utilising the Mercedes horsepower in the Coca-Cola sponsored car. Coca-Cola did not endorse Willows Racing. So Now Alonso's got a bit of slipstream from Robert Wickens in the white tornado.
Could Hamilton use this to his advantage? No,
Not quite.
not quite.
Too much slipstream for Alonso.
I'm expecting a kind of Hakkinen Schumacher Zonta backmarker moment at any.
And that's 6/10 quicker on that lap for Ricciardo this time around. And now back in the slipstream out of it.
Doesn't quite have the power, does he? In the
So it's going to have to be a daring on the brakes.
Nope.
Or shunt him out of the way. Doesn't matter, you're champion already. And now back into...
again.
This is going into Canada corner. And he's got it.
Oh, he's done it! He's done it! Hamilton takes it.
Under braking for Canada corner. So that was
The
the move
world
we've been
champion.
waiting for.
Can Alonso keep
He's back
in
in
the
the
slipstream?
Hamilton's back in the pits though, so as soon as he made that move, he had to come into the pits for fuel. So Alonso now back in the lead. So some of Hamilton's pace would be explained down to a lighter fuel load. And he's taken on a fair bit of fuel for this stint. That should take him to around lap 60. Around lap 60, we'll call it that. So Alonso running longer in this stint this time around, because it was he that pitted first in the first stops. Whereas Hamilton pitted.
I still think this has got to be a 2-horse race at this point, though. 11 seconds, I don't think.
Well, it's 8.7 now.
Yeah, to be fair, Ricciardo's...
It does look as if it is between Alonso and Hamilton for the win, unless
What's
reliability
this?
problems intervene.
FJR? It's Kimi?
Raikkonen versus
Raikkonen
Senna.
versus Senna, yeah.
So that's into the points for Raikkonen. So both FJRs are now in the
7th and
points. Although with now
The sole
Senna's
remaining
coming back.
Pedersen is coming back, yeah.
Yes. This is now for 7th because Grosjean has just come into the pits. And with Willows up in 1st and 4th, and...
Oh, I thought there was a...
There was an incident, but it's not quite. Bit of lag. And there is Alonso in the pits. 5.7
Right,
seconds.
so here we go. Where is Mr. Lewis Hamilton?
He's keeping an eye on Alonso as Jean-Eric Vergne comes into the pits, as does Adrian Sutil.
Was that Hamilton?
That was indeed Hamilton, so he's maintained the lead as the former world champion exits the pits. But now it's Alonso who has got the fresher tyres and a lighter fuel load.
And probably before too long, a slipstream.
Well, let's keep an eye on the gaps as he starts lap 41.
2.3.
That was coming across the second sector. 2.1 as they cross the finish line. So Alonso at this moment is quicker.
This is anything but over. But no, you're right when I was saying Ricciardo is pretty much out of it. But he's now, I think the gap's about 8 seconds. He's definitely clawed some time back.
Well, let's have a look at the time now because everyone, aside from Vettel, has made their second stops from within the top 8. Let's just do a run through of the order. It's Hamilton from Alonso, from Ricciardo.
1.9 now.
1.9. Rosberg in 4th, and then Maldonado and Di Grassi complete the top 6. Once Vettel makes his pit stop, Roman Grosjean will move back up into 7th, ahead of the duelling Senna and Raikkonen. And now into the carousel corner. Snap on, because it's a quick ride through here. Strap on.
I thought you said something very different when you first said that.
And now Vettel is in the pits for the shake and bake. Who will use Ferrari engines next season alongside...
Like just about everybody.
Just about everybody, yeah. So I think there's
Customer Ferraris.
4 teams using Ferrari engines, which will be Sean Connery Motors, or Guy Racing, whichever you prefer to call them.
Who's using the... Who's got the works Ferrari then next?
Sean Connery
Sean
Motors.
Connery.
And then customer Ferraris will be Tornado, Extralight and Shake and Bake.
Yeah.
Works Mercedes. I have gone for Works Honda.
Works Honda? I thought you'd gone for Mercedes.
No, that'd be Willows. And GRM have gone for a customer Mercedes. Meanwhile, Mitchell will take the Renault engines, who have transformed into a Works program. Andrew F1 will keep the Renault engine as well. Speaking of which, Kubica is in the pits. As we ride on board with Alonso down the back straight, or one of the back straights, braking hard for turn number 3. Mind the bollards on the inside.
1.4 roughly now.
So now Alonso's got the measure in this stint with slightly less fuel and fresher tyres.
We've seen very little of the horizons in this race.
Well, it looks like Hamilton's lapped somebody. Maybe is that Horizon or is that Sergio Perez in the shake and bake?
Is it Horizon?
It's
a shake and bake.
It is,
Must
yes.
be Perez.
Could be Perez, it could be Vettel though.
I think it's Perez.
And it's now 1 second, the gap between Hamilton and Alonso.
He will be in the slipstream. He will before too long be. Actually, just yeah, it would be interesting to see in terms of physics how GP4. I mean, obviously you can get an immediate slipstream, but yeah, I don't know. When will he start to pick up the advantage of the slipstream? I wonder.
Roughly 6/10 behind or 7/10.
He's certainly closing anyway. It won't be long.
Through Canada Corner. Seems to be one of the only corner names I know, aside from Carousel. Might be one called Kettle Downs.
It's a very old school circuit, which I like. This, isn't it? It's
yeah.
You know, it's hasn't been massacred with tarmac runoffs.
Not overly massacred. As I say, it's pretty much the same layout as it was when it was first created.
Yeah.
I mean, I think over the years they added a chicane before the kink, but that's for motorcycle races. Because going through the kink with quite limited runoff would be pretty scary for them. I mean,
look at this though now. It's
closing up now. Because I remember
must be under a second. I would have thought at this point.
Yeah. Because I remember there was an accident.
Intense.
There was an accident in Champ Car where I think it was Catherine Legg's rear wing failed at the kink, and there was nothing left of the car at all. But she was fine.
Yeah, I was going to say,
fine.
hopefully, I would have known about it if there'd been nothing left of Catherine as well.
It was just literally just the tub.
Yeah, well, that's its job in a way.
Mm.
Hey, look at this now. Must be it's taken a huge chunk of time as Fernando.
He's on a good lap, and it's lap 45 underneath a Suzuki bridge.
7/10.
Through the kink, it's now half a second.
Easily into the slipstream. Now, this really is where we'll turn into a slipstream duel.
And it looks like it'll be... But it looks like the advantage will lie with the Mercedes engine.
Yeah. It really does. It does seem to have a power advantage. Because Hamilton was, even with the slipstream, was struggling for a long time to pass Fernando.
Yes. Past the Tornado.
Past the Tornado.
0.3 of a second now as they cross the line. And you see
look at this.
See that power as they go through the first corner. Now to the second corner, and let's see what it's like on the back straight here. How much of a slipstream has Fernando Alonso got? It's starting to kick in now.
No, it's a slam dunk from there, surely. For Fernando on the inside, and it's Hamilton's wide, and we've got
He's rejoined, trying to bravely hang on around the outside, but
it was dollar short.
I admire his spirit.
Yeah.
Here's
nice
Kubica. Whoa, Kubica off the track, and he's out of the race.
That was a bit special.
Now it's at turn 2, and the wheel goes rolling, but it should stop just in time. So, quite clearly an accident. So, not many retirements in this race. We've had Kobayashi, and now we've got Robert Kubica. And is Vettel got a problem because he's pulling off the circuit?
The standard shake and bake calamity.
How many retirements is that? I mean, that's a lot. I mean, just looking at the list here, and that's past the carousel, and this is much further into the race, and you can see how much of a lead Alonso's built now over Hamilton.
Well, it's shake and bake. He must be shaking his fists at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Perez has borne the brunt of many of the retirements.
He has. Clearly, there's A team, A driver, B driver.
Well, I think it was 7 retirements in a row for Perez. One of them was classified. That was his last lap crash at Silverstone.
It's the Mark Webber syndrome.
And now we are on the final lap of the race.
And what a drive by Fernando, it's got to be said.
Yes.
Absolutely flawless.
Very good. From 5th on the grid as well. So he basically, and it wasn't like he had a brilliant start either. He just worked his way through the field patiently.
Methodically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this will be his 4th win of the season, and
definitely utilising the power of that Mercedes engine. It was.
He's out the final corner now, up the hill, onto the start-finish straight, and across the finish line to take his 4th win of the season.
4th, yeah, I was going to say 4th of the season.
As you say, very well deserved. And just recapping the results. Hamilton 2nd from Daniel Ricciardo, so both Tornadoes on the podium.
Yeah.
And Nico Rosberg didn't bottle it this time, but didn't have the car underneath him. Good drive
though. Degrassi.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, from 4th on the grid, but yeah, the Willows and the Tornado are the better cars now. And complete the points, Roman Grosjean and Bruno Senna. And you can see.
Oh, it was a loose wheel. I didn't spot that for Vettel. Is that what did it say that at the time?
It might have done, but I was trying to see how many retirements he had. And fastest lap of the race for Fernando Alonso. We didn't see Sam Bird's retirement in the horizon, but only 4 retirements, and because it was a long race as well, and quite a few laps, but not as many as you might think.
So where does that help to Fernando? Where was that? Fernando, well, it's stayed roughly the same then, I guess, hasn't it? Really.
Well, Alonso's pulled away a bit from Grosjean, I think.
Ricardo, yeah.
And he's got an outside chance of the runner-up spot in the championship now as Alonso.
If he carries on this way.
Things go dramatically wrong for Ricciardo and Rosberg in the final race at Abu Dhabi.
I think though this one was definitely the kind of race where the power of the Mercedes was a big advantage.
Yes, although they cannot overtake Sean Corey Motors for 2nd, they pull quite a bit clear of FJR now. Although they have an outside chance for 3rd, it's looking likely that Willows will be 3rd in their first ever season in FF1M.
Impressive. Very impressive.
So that was the American Grand Prix at Road America, the 2nd American race of the season, and
it's good night from me, and good night from him.
But we will see. But we will see you for the final race at Abu Dhabi. So from the two of us, we'll see you then.
Ta-ra.